First, I'd like to start off by saying, yes, I know I am very white. It's just me filming this. I really don't have someone to help me, so it's kind of complicated to test the exposure and everything. So you know what? I'm just be a ghost. Hi, my name is Ashley Bloom, and I'm making this video to help raise awareness for depression. This video is being made for my senior project, and if you don't know what a senior project is, which most people don't because a lot of high schools don't have them, it's basically the last final project that you have to do in order to graduate. If you don't do your senior project, you don't graduate. It's supposed to prepare us for the outside world, kind of help us with talking to people and planning big events and doing things that help us kind of step out of our comfort zone. Your senior project has to be something that impacts the community. You spend an entire semester of a school year working on your senior project, so it has to be something that you're really passionate about. If you choose a topic you don't really like, you're gonna hate your project. I decided that I wanted to help raise awareness for depression because depression has impacted my life. In 2013, my mom died, and after that my dad became very depressed, and because of that it was really hard to have a normal life, I guess. It got to the point where he wanted to die. My dad went back and forth between mental hospitals for a good while, and it was just really hard knowing that my dad didn't want to be alive anymore. So basically in this video, I'm just going to be talking about general knowledge that I feel everybody should have about depression, and then I'll be telling y'all the symptoms and a way you can help someone. Alright, many causes. A lot of people don't know that you can develop depression through genetics. If you have a great uncle that suffered from depression, then it runs in your family and you could very well acquire it from them. Depression can also develop when a life-changing event occurs. So say if there is an illness or death in the family, then it impacts your emotional state, and then it starts to impact you like mentally, so you become depressed. Especially the death in a family. Or maybe just things aren't going the way you want them to. So most people would slowly start to lose hope, and then they become depressed because of that. If someone has depression, even the smallest inconvenience can cause them to have an episode. Say you can't find your wallet, or your charger just broke, which if you have an iPhone, it's probably the 30th charger you've bought and the 30th one that's broken. So you're gonna have a reason to be mad. Or maybe a friend canceled plans. Just small things can cause you to feel horrible. First off, I would like to apologize for the plain black screen, but it is midnight. And I'm supposed to be asleep, but I couldn't because I was thinking about this. So, as y'all have seen, the first few minutes of this video was me just kind of stating facts and talking about some personal stuff, and yeah, very serious, at least trying to be serious, but I don't like my video. I have a full video planned, like done. It's completely done. I just have to edit a little bit more and post it. I had planned to do that over Easter break. Well, today is, or technically yesterday was the last day of my Easter break, and I had not touched my video. I do not like my video. I decided I'm going to change it. I'm going to make it more personal. It's going to be clips like this. You'll actually see my face. Sorry about that. It's going to be personal. My original video was basically just me reading my research paper to y'all, and I realized that's dumb and serious. So I'm going to kind of walk you through what it's like to have depression. I feel like that's the only way I can get my point across. I decided on this because I did have a little mental breakdown earlier. I was crying and I was just kind of losing hope. So I couldn't stop crying. I took a little breather and I'm okay right now. But that's why I made this decision. I think it's best, and for everyone else that also has depression, I think it will be nice for them to see that there is someone else that goes through the same things as them. Sorry for the black screen. Can't see me. but I think that's the best idea. I have to present my senior project on May 6th. I have to figure out how to tell my teacher that I'm changing my video and enjoy the rest of this video. With graduation coming up, I've been thinking about the last few years, all the people that I have met, everything that they have said and done, and it's made me realize that I have to say this. I really shouldn't have to say this. You'd think it would be common sense. Depression is not trendy. My mental disorder is not your aesthetic. Like I said, that kind of seems like common sense, you know. You don't hope to have depression just so you can seem cool. I'm pretty sure we all know someone that's like that. For example, this girl, she was a sophomore, I was a junior. She wasn't talking about depression, but she like drew on her hands with a highlighter, and she asked her friend, "Does it look like I have a disease?" Her friend said yes, and she was like, "Oh, cool." Like, what? I don't get what she was saying. I don't get what she was trying to prove, maybe. I don't know. I don't understand what's wrong with this kid, but there are people like that, and I don't get it, because as I said, it's not cool to have depression. That is an actual mental disorder that people have to suffer with, and they hate every single day. I've said it once, maybe twice, I'll say it again. Having depression is not trendy. Now I'm going to talk about the ways to help someone with depression. The most common way that people think of is medicine, but there are ways that you can help that doesn't involve medicine at all. If you know someone with depression, it is really important that you help them in even the smallest ways possible. It's important that you make them feel loved. They need to know that there's somebody there that is willing to actually take the time to help them and listen. You also need to make it clear to them that you helping them is not a burden to you whatsoever, because a lot of people with depression don't like help from others that aren't professionals because they feel like they're bothering them, that it's a burden. So if you have a friend or family member that is going through a rough time because of their depression, ask them to have a day out with you. They might not be up to it necessarily, and if that's the case, maybe watch their favorite movie with them, or play video games, or maybe just sit and chill. Of course, there is the possibility that they might not want to do any of this, so then at that point, it's good to leave them alone. So to sum it up, recommend doing something that they love. Of course, they may not want to. So if they say that they don't want to do anything, don't take offense to it. Just leave them be. They may need a little bit of mental time alone. This is also something that's very important that everybody needs to know. People with depression can freak out over the smallest things. So if your friend calls you crying that they can't find their wallet, or they misplaced their phone charger or something, don't be mad. Don't go off on them. Don't tell them to just chill out, okay? Tell them to take deep breaths. This is what we call a mental breakdown. Yes, they are freaking out over something that is very simple, but it is very serious to them. They really can't help it. At that point, when they can't find that small little thing they're looking for, they start thinking their life is falling apart. It's not their fault. It's their brain's fault. They don't want to do it. It just happens. So please, be patient with them. Change that angling a little bit. So now I'm going to talk about some symptoms. God, there's a train. So some symptoms, if you have a friend or a family member that they normally go out a lot and they love to have fun and party, I guess. If they start staying inside more, then they may have recently developed depression. And you know, sometimes it can develop just randomly. So a change in their behavior is a big red flag. Also a change in their mood. It is also common for teenagers with depression to lose interest in things they normally love. So maybe they played sports in middle school, and whenever they get to high school, they're just really not into it anymore. Or maybe they really love to read, but then they just kind of stop because they now say it's boring. People's diets will also change if they have depression. Now, something that is kind of tricky is teenagers with depression, because as I said, depression can kind of cause you to change your mood. Well, a lot of parents will just assume that their teenagers are being rebellious or just going through a phase. A lot of parents just suspect their teenagers be moody as it is. And a lot of teenagers are, but that makes it even more complicated for the ones that with depression that really need help. Because their parents just assume they're kind of going through some stuff and just being a teenager, but in reality, they want to die. I shouldn't have laughed at that. So here's a little message to just parents. Talk to your kids. I know there are a lot of parents that try to do that and the kids just kind of brush them off, but really try. And if you were seriously that worried about them, talk to their doctor to get them tested for depression the next time that they go. So parents, please pay attention to your children. Now here's just some general knowledge that I think everyone should know about depression. There are two major types of depression. The first one is major depressive disorder, but that one only lasts about like 6 to 12 months, but it does come with severe symptoms. So someone with major depressive disorder, for a good 6 months straight, they could just be in bed the entire time. They could be sad and they could just be feeling horrible. But then after about a year or so, they'll be okay. They'll be back to their normal selves because they've gotten over their depression. The second one is dysthymia. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, so I'm gonna put it on the screen. It is a lot milder. It's easier to cope with, but it does last longer. So you could have this type of depression for 10 years, but you'll be able to function normally most of the time. You know, you may have some kind of mental breakdowns every now and then, but for majority, you can still go out and have fun and not really worry about anything. Also, something that I found really important is 1 in 5 teenagers have depression. So in a basic classroom with about 20 students, 4 of them could be depressed and you would not know, because us as teenagers, we don't like talking about things. %20 of the Earth's population between the ages of 13 and 19 have depression. That is 160 million people. That's a lot. A few months ago, I created a 10-question survey to help me gain data for this video. Questions 1 through 8 were simple questions that were based on the respondent. Question 9 was a yes or no question that if you said no, it required an explanation. Question 10 was just if they knew that 1 in 5 people were depressed, which most of them did not. Of the 55 people that took that survey, 40% of them said that no one has ever tried to inform them in any way about depression. I also asked them if they knew how to help someone that has depression. Only 13% said no, but I still feel like that is too much. Also, the 55, 27% of them said that they have lost someone to depression. So for number 9, the question was, if you had/have depression, would/did you trust your counselor with this information? Most of them are still in high school, and majority of them said no. This is the one that I asked for the explanation on, and a lot said that the counselors are too busy doing other things, or they don't care about my problems, or they'll tell my family. A big problem at my school is that teachers all talk to each other, so a lot of these students were worried that if they did tell a counselor, then the rest of the faculty would know. And because teachers talk, students soon find out, because we overhear things, we listen to everything because we're all nosy. So no one wanted their peers and the rest of the staff knowing that they have depression, so they would not tell a counselor. Thank you so much for watching this video. I do understand if it was kind of confusing and a mess and kind of out of place, but honestly, if you took the time to watch it, I cannot thank you so much, because you're helping me graduate. Thank you. Remember, depression is a very serious mental disorder, and we all need to just know more about it. If you do want to know more, then a simple Google search would honestly really help. Luckily for us, younger generations, the ones that are going to be running this country in a few years, do care and know more about depression. When I talk to people older than me, they all say that when they were younger, people didn't really have depression like that. This one lady told me it must be something they're putting in the milk. So once again, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed to a certain extent. I hope it was entertaining because, you know, that little black screen in the beginning, I was explaining kind of how I hated my original video, so I decided to change it up to this. Give it a thumbs up, I guess. If you didn't like it, I mean, give it a thumbs down. I really don't care. This YouTube is not my job, although I really want it to be. Oh my god. So just give it whatever you want. Put down in the comments below something you know about depression that you want other people to know, or maybe put down a little story. I don't know, put something. Share this video with your friends, help raise awareness for depression, and just thank you guys so much for listening.